What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Crypto Empire, where we dominate the crypto market. My name is Connor, and yes, we are back, lads. We are back. It feels great to be back here. I appreciate all the messages, everyone wondering what was going on. Don't worry, guys. I was just taking a little bit of a vacation, if you will, in Japan, and it was an epic trip, but we're back. Feels good to be back here, and let's get right into it with a Crypto Empire live stream, shall we? Smash up the like button if you guys are hyped up for this one. I'm hyped up to be here. And let's get right into this. And start off like we always do with our crypto market overview. Appreciate all the hype in the chat from everyone. Shout out to Calcutta. We got Lisa, who is a bot. Let's get the bots out of here. We don't like those AI slop bots in our comment section. So let's go ahead and give Lisa the boot. Shout out to Joey Joe. Big shout out to Caspa Solar Miner. We got Ghost as well. What's going on, Ghost? We got Apex and Malik Wong. What's going on, Ghoul? Crypto Christian. What is going on, guys? Appreciate all of you, and let's just get right into this live stream because there's a lot to talk about. A lot happened over the past 1 or 2 weeks while I was away. A lot happened. Bitcoin made a new all-time high. ETH pumped up to 4,800, hit a major macro supply zone, and altcoins are still relatively unexciting right now. So I want to talk about what I'm thinking in terms of this market cycle, because there's a lot of people saying that Bitcoin looks very similar to the previous cycle top, right? A lot of people saying it looks similar to what happened over here in 2021 with the double top. So I want to give my take on whether or not this cycle is over, Bitcoin's topped out, all of that. We're going to talk about that right now in this live stream. So strap on in, hit the like button, and let's get into it. And let's start off with Bitcoin because we're looking at it right now. So first things first, I want to make it pretty clear that my predictions haven't changed for Bitcoin. All right, my predictions are still the same. This chart is untouched. We have the target zone here, right? And the target zone is very simple. It is just taking Fibonacci extension levels from this previous all-time high over here on January 20th down to this swing low that occurred on April 7th. And if we take that Fibonacci extension, we get these two levels. We get the negative 0.27 at 119, and we hit the negative 618 at 131K. Now, as you can see, we have gone into our target zone. We hit that first Fibonacci extension at 119. We have not hit 131K. There is a chance that Bitcoin is topped out for the cycle. A lot of money from Bitcoin has left to go to Ethereum. All right. Now, with that being said, I do still think we are going to, I think the probability is that we go in and we at least hit the 1618 or the negative 618, I should say, at 131K. Let me move this mic. Let me know if you guys can see and hear me clearly. I think we're good. But let's just get some responses in the chat real quick. How's the microphone? You guys can hear me properly? Hopefully you can. Anyways, I think the probability is greater that we go ahead and we hit our negative 618 Fibonacci extension up here at 131 before we roll over and have our big bear market. With that being said, I don't think Ethereum is topped out. I don't think altcoins are topped out. However, Bitcoin has seen its move. Bitcoin was in a bull market for several years. And like I've been saying, I know I haven't been here in like 2 weeks, but like I was saying during my very frequent live streams, the trade is no longer Bitcoin. The trade is altcoins from here on out in the cycle, and that remains very, very true. However, Bitcoin to 131, I think, is a very, very likely possibility. So all the people calling for like 175, 200K, I think those are moon boy targets, and I don't think they're going to happen this time around just yet this year. All right. So basically, yeah, the bulk of the move has already happened on BTC, but 131 is still wide open for the taking. All right. We're in the target zone. This is a huge macro premium price. These are retail prices for Bitcoin, and the trade is not Bitcoin anymore. The trade is Ethereum and alts. We're going to get back into Bitcoin on this local price action in just a moment. I want to go through some of these majors first, and then we'll rotate on over back to BTC. All right. So let's start off looking at Tether dominance, USDT.D. So Tether dominance. What's going on with the chart? What's going on, lads? Well, first things first. We had this 2-day supply level. We had this 2-day supply level at 4.40%. And as you can see on the 2-day chart, price has spiked up, and it's kind of just, it totally ignored this 2-day supply zone. All right. I don't know if you guys are following me on Twitter, but I tweeted this out the other day, right? The 2-day supply at 4.4, or we're going for 4.6. And as of right now, with how USDT has reacted, just kind of ignoring this 2-day supply zone, it looks like this does appear to want to go higher right now. So what we want to look for is this 2-day candle close. And the 2-day candle, I believe, will be closing later on today. Now, depending on how this candle closes, if it closes above the 2-day supply zone at 4.42%, essentially how it is right now, that's going to turn this 2-day supply into a breaker block. And that's a very, very telling sign that it does want to go higher. On the other hand, if it ends up closing below the 2-day supply, then we can talk about the pullback being over and higher prices on alts, Ethereum, and this going lower. But as of right now, taking the chart at face value for what it is, it does look like it wants to go and nab the key level up higher. And what is that key level? Well, in my very own humble opinion, that key level is going to be up here at the previous swing high, 4.60%. If we get 4.60%, that is going to align with a lot of other majors. Because you have to understand, right now there's like no confluence with any of the majors, right? Bitcoin front ran key levels. I'll get into that in a moment. ETH hit the CME gap, but the total 2, total 3, right? They really haven't hit any key levels. So it's kind of fishy out there. It's kind of wishy-washy, which makes me believe that the pullback isn't necessarily over just yet. And I think patience is required right now. When I was away in Japan, if we just go back to Bitcoin real quick. There we go. Our chart loaded. While I was away, Bitcoin did go and make this new all-time high at 124K, right? And also Ethereum put in a monster move. It put in a monster move to 47.88. And this is also a huge 1-month supply zone up here, as you can see, right? It's not going to melt through a major 1-month supply zone at the all-time high in the first try. Despite how high it went, right, the probability of it just melting through this supply zone and going to like 6K from here is quite low, right? And with that, when Ethereum was up here and Bitcoin made that new all-time high, retail got max bullish. It's the same song and dance where everyone just decided to long the all-time high breakout on Bitcoin. Oh my God, new all-time high, let's long it. It was a trap by the market makers. Now, I do apologize for not being here to be able to give my analysis in the moment and warn you guys of this. However, we're here now, and we're picking up the pieces, and we're getting back into the swing of things. We're locking back in. We are locking back in. Don't worry. I got nothing planned, no travel or anything. So, yeah, we're locking in now. Anyways, retail got max bullish with this. All right. And now we got the washout. It's so typical. It happens every single time. Oh my God, new all-time high. Long, buy everything. Oh my God. Only to get washed out. It was a market maker trap like it always is. So anyways, right now we're in the wake of that market maker trap. And like I said, I think a little bit of patience is required right now. Looking at the chart, especially USDT dominance, I do think that 4.60% is that key level to wait for right now for major confluence, at least one of the main ones. And then we can talk about like this pullback being over and then going into a roaring bull phase for altcoins. And I want to make it very clear that altcoins are going to go higher. All right. Like if you're like thinking the cycle top is in and you're selling every single one of your bags right now, and you're like scared and all of that, I don't think that's the play at all. I think you're really going to regret things later on this year, because I think we're going to see, you know, a really decent move on alts, and a lot of money will be made. But as of right now, like I said, a little bit of patience is required. So anyways, USDT dominance. Let's see how the 2-day candle does close. All right, let's see how the 2-day candle closes. As of right now, if it closes above this 2-day supply zone, it's going to leave behind this a bullish breaker block. And in my opinion, that would likely lead to 4.60%, meaning the pullback isn't really over yet. All right, so mark that one, and let's go ahead and keep on moving on. Let's see, others.d. Very important to keep your tabs on others.d, because this is the altcoin dominance percentage. And I think I shared this on a live stream. I definitely shared it inside of the Mastermind. But basically, this is in a range right now. We have the range low down here at 6.8%, the range high at 8.9%. And you guys have to understand, all the low cap coins, all the mid cap coins, all the shit coins, whatever, you know, they're really not going to pump. They're not going to rally until others.d starts its big move up. So with that being said, we do have this 1 week demand level below the range low, and this is at 6.28%. All right. So if this were to get hit, this would be a max buying opportunity on altcoins. There would be a lot of fear, obviously, because this would be quite a big drop, and coins would get kind of demolished. Right, if we see others dominance drop by 17.5%, that's kind of bad news for the bulls and good news for the bears in the short term. However, what that would lead to, in my opinion, would be a major macro bullish reversal. And I think if we do hit this 1 week demand on others dominance, it's going to lead to that parabolic run that we are after. So as of right now, it's just in the middle of the range. It is kind of unable to reclaim the mid-range here and these opposite pole resistance levels at around 8%. So definitely too early to say that this is ready to break out right now. And I think for max confidence, we want to hit this 1 week demand zone. And when we hit that 1 week demand zone, that's the time to go fully into gear, to rev the engines and get ready for, you know, the crazy altcoin season that we all are looking for, basically. But it's not time for it right now, looking at the chart, right? Take the chart at face value. It's unable to reclaim the mid-range. It's in the middle of the range, and there's a 1 week demand zone just below. So that's what I see in others dominance. Let's keep on moving on. Now look, ETH BTC very strong, which is, you know, what we want to see. And we are approaching, this is the weekly, let's go to the daily chart. We are approaching a key swing high, as we have labeled here, right? And this key swing high is at 0.041. We haven't hit that just yet. However, we have closed above this swing high, which is great to see. And now we're getting a pullback, all right? So we just closed above this swing high over here at 0.037, and we're getting a pullback. So we want to basically treat this pullback as an opportunity for continuation. Because look, Ethereum versus BTC, I don't think is topped at all for the cycle. We looked at Bitcoin. If you're just tuning in right now, the first chart we looked at was Bitcoin. And I said that the trade it's essentially over on Bitcoin for the cycle, okay? Bitcoin is lower chance it's topped, but there's a greater chance that it goes to $130,000. But still, like, that's not a lot of upside at all. That's like less than a 10% move from the current market price, okay? So the trade is no longer on Bitcoin. The trade is on Ethereum and altcoins. And Ethereum versus Bitcoin has not topped yet. This is bullish, and we need to pay close attention to this chart. We want to see this go ahead and reclaim this key swing high at, 4.1 million Satoshis. And from there, We'll see if it wants to break the trend line, right? This trend line going back to the cycle peak over here in December of 2021. And if it does want to break the trend line and go for our nice juicy hot spring level. If you guys didn't know, if you've ever been to Japan, this emoji here, this one, it looks like cooking or something like that. This is actually what they have in all the hot springs, the volcanic natural hot springs in Japan. They have it on the signs everywhere. All right, so that's the hot level. And it's all the way up there at 9 million stats per ETH. But yeah, there's a lot of work to do until, I mean, we can even talk about that. I mean, that's a distant, far off target. I do think it at least goes for 4.5 million Satoshi. So yeah, this isn't topped out yet, and there's no reason to be bearish on this. Yeah, it could pull back more in the short term, but it's going higher here over the next few months. I don't want to say I guarantee it, but I guarantee it. All right, moving on. So total, not really a lot of key levels on total. And because Bitcoin makes up the majority of the total, we really want to pay more attention to the total 2 and the total 3 and even others right now. Okay, so yeah, let's go and look at the total 2 now then, lads. So total 2, what I want to show you guys is there's a big 12-hour level on the total 2. Total 2 has a big 12-hour hidden order block at $1.48 trillion. And now, in my opinion, this is going to be another major level to look for confluence to call the bottom of this current pullback. As you can see, it was just front ran on yesterday's down move. It came to 1.49 trillion. We're seeing a decent bounce now. But in order for me to confidently call the bottom on this current pullback, I'd like to see this 12-hour hidden order block get hit, along with Tether, USDT.D hitting 460 at this point. So in my opinion, these are like your two major confluence targets to use for longing altcoins with leverage, buying more coins spot, right? If you want that optimal entry, I would be looking at these two majors to do so. Hope that's loud and clear. Again, total 2 to 1.48 trillion. Open up your 12-hour time frame and you will see the level on the 12-hour just here. And yeah, I mean, that is something I am looking for 100% right now. Let's see, total 3. So total 3 on the daily. The level I'm looking for at least to get hit here on the total 3 is kind of a retest of the monthly open down here at around 982 billion. And there's also, I mean, this isn't the greatest level by any means, but there is a one-day partial hidden order block. It's really not a strong level, but it does line up with the monthly open. And it's right at around 985 billion on the total 3. Okay? And again, I think this is, when this hits, if it hits, it's likely going to line up with Tether dominance hitting 4.60, 4.60%, as well as the total 2 hitting that 1.48 trillion. So these are kind of the main major confluence levels that I'm looking for right now to confidently say that this pullback is over and we're going to resume this very bullish trend that we're in for altcoins. All right, lads. Now back to Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin, right? We went over the macro. We went over the cycle targets. We went over how the people saying that this is a repeat of 2021 are very likely going to be wrong. Because you guys have to understand, every market cycle, there's a recency bias. And right now, the recency bias is the 2021 top, where it was the double top. right? The recency bias is this 2021 double top over here, where we put in the first one and we go to the second one, or even locally over here where we go here and then we go here, right? Double top. Very rarely does the market do what a lot of people are expecting it to do. And, you know, we have that double top, right? Move up, chop around, whatever, double top. I doubt that happens just because, like, there's so many people saying it's the same thing as 2021. Just like in 2021, everyone's expecting the crazy parabolic run that occurred in 2017, because the 2017 top was that recent top and we had the recency bias. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that, oh, it's the double top, same thing as 2021. I don't think it is, okay? So again, the macro is the negative 618 extension at 131. But let's talk about the local price action now, all right? That's the macro. The macro should be very clear, lads. Let's talk about the local price action. So the local price action, what are our key levels here on Bitcoin locally? Well, the key levels, in my opinion, are going to be the previous swing low from over here on the 3rd of August. And this comes in at $111,870 on the Bybit Perps chart. As you can see, Bitcoin just front ran that level on yesterday's down move. It did come back into this 1 hour breaker block. And this has given two major bounces, or one major bounce in the past. And this support just tested again. So again, more times that a support level is tested, the weaker it does get. So if it comes back down here to these lows at like 112,500, I expect it to break. All right. And at the minimum, we're going to go and we're going to sweep 111,970. Again, that's our previous swing low from the 3rd of August. That is a very relevant level to have marked out. But the real juicy level, in my opinion, is going to be our 4-day demand zone. And our 4-day demand zone is at $109,000 to $108,000. It can very well happen. It can very well happen. Bitcoin is way weaker than like ETH right now. And like I said, a lot of money from Bitcoin went on over into Ethereum. The trade's over on Bitcoin. But, you know, we still need to pay attention to it because it's still the king, right? It's still the king. Anyways, 109 to 108, big 4-day demand zone. Likely would line up with Tether dominance spiking up to 4.60%. So this is another major thing we can use for confluence. 109 on Bitcoin. Now, you know, worst case, over here. I mean, there's a low chance it happens, but it can happen. We come all the way down to like 102 on this correction. I think there's a very low probability chance that we see 102. But there are multiple hidden order blocks down there. And it wouldn't really like be that far out of the realm of possibility to see 102 on Bitcoin. Probably would be a wick. It would be max fear. And it would make people scream chicken little, the sky is falling. But it's possible. I'm going to mention it now. Maybe we'll come back to it and I can say, ha, I was right. But I doubt it, right? I doubt it will go to 102, but it is possible. Main levels, again, are 111,970 in the 4-day demand zone at $109,000 to use for your major confluence levels. All right? And now let's go look at ETH, and then we can get into the altcoins because ETH right now is kind of our last major chart that we're going to look at. Now, ETH isn't really a major. It's obviously the biggest altcoin. But with the way that Ethereum versus Bitcoin is trading, we have to put a lot of weight on Ethereum for the market currently. ETH is in the driver's seat. It's taken Bitcoin's role for the time being as the leader. So it's very important we have a very good read on Ethereum to be able to trade this market correctly right now. So here on ETH, we're on the daily time frame. And first of all, we have just come and we've retested the breakout over here at 4,100, right? This first was hit in March of 2024. It was hit again over here in December of 2024. And here we are in the start of August. We broke through that 4,100 level. Big parabolic move up, and we pulled back and we're retesting that level now. All right, so this is a logical level to look for support, and it is acting as support. As you can see on the first test we had yesterday, we are now seeing a bounce. The issue is, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, there's no confluence from majors, right? There's no confluence from the majors right now. So it's really like, I'm not very confident to say like, yeah, this 4,100 retest is going to hold and it's going to go to a new all-time high right now. It will go to a new all-time high. This pullback it's a bullshit pullback. Like, we're going to see higher prices. It's just a matter of where's the reversal going to happen from. All right, so what I want to show you now, or on the daily time frame, we have a bullish hidden order block right here at just below 4,000. This is at $3,980. All right, this very well could end up being the level that marks the bottom, especially if we do have that major confluence when this is hit, such as Tether dominance to 4.60%, total 2 to 1.48 trillion, total 3 to 985, all the things I mentioned earlier in the stream, right? Hopefully you guys jotted them down, wrote it down. But yeah, as of right now, it just looks a little bit sketchy because there's no major confluence, and it doesn't give me a lot of confidence to say that the bottom of this pullback is in right now. So this is big at 39.80. And then, I mean, over here, go to the 2-day. We have a 2-day demand right on our August monthly open. Get rid of this now. We have a 2-day demand right on the August monthly open, coming in at like $3,700. I don't really see ETH going lower than this. And like I said, if 39.80 hits with major confluence, you got to assume that's the bottom, and you got to bid that. You got to long your altcoins. You got to buy your coin spot, whatever, for the run. If you don't have exposure going into this last part of the run, you're really going to hate your life, I think. Okay, so I think it's really important to stay headstrong here and understand what's coming and to not fold too early right now. So for ETH, again, 39.80. Maybe we go for that monthly open at like 37 to $3,600. But that's likely going to be it before we go ahead and see ETH melt through the 1-month supply zone, right? So that's the Ethereum analysis. I'm sure you guys were looking out for that one. There it is. That's what I'm seeing on ETH. And again, don't fold too early. Higher prices are coming. This pullback will subside. It's kind of just a bullshit pullback. It was a market maker retail trap. And when it's over, we're going to rip. But as of right now, we're in the midst of the pullback, in the eye of the storm. So again, we're close to it. We just don't have any major confluence to confidently call the bottom. 39.80 with major confluence would be money, in my opinion, to buy, to long, all of that. Let's see. We got a super chat from Louis G. What's going on, Louis G? Asking about Treble Swap. He says, do you think Treble Swap will lose competitive edge to the new Coinbase super application? Trying to decide whether to hold or sell my trip. Well, I mean, good question. And let's see. I mean, as of right now, it does appear that market confidence isn't very high, although with Ethereum pulling back and others' dominance not ripping, We're not really seeing any micro caps on base do really well. Now, will it not do good because of the new Coinbase Super application? Look, Treble Swap is an aggregator, so it's going to fetch the best price no matter what. Just because it's not used in the Coinbase Super app doesn't mean that people won't go ahead and use it to get the best price possible on base. Okay, so I don't think it's too. I think it's too early right now to say, oh, it's not in. Like, you have to understand, this is not Aerodrome, right? Aerodrome was created by Coinbase team members. They have the in, okay? It's kind of like just a renegade team, like working extremely hard to build an amazing product, to bring an amazing product to the market. And they've done that, and they continue to ship updates and add new features. And in my opinion, this is still one of the best, if not the best, products for a decentralized exchange on base, on the market. Okay, so just because they don't have the in with Coinbase doesn't mean it's over for them. I mean, I haven't lost my confidence in Treble Swap, like I said, right? If you just check the updates, check everything that's going on. Like, fundamentally speaking, nothing has changed. The thesis hasn't changed. It's just that they don't have some crazy in because a Coinbase employee didn't make the project. Okay, so that's how I would answer that question. Whether you want to hold or sell, that's totally up to you, man. Everyone has their own free will. And I'm not here to say, you have to hold or you have to sell. You need to make that decision on your own. But hey, that's my answer, and I hope it helps. Anyways, so we talked about the majors. We talked about ETH. Talked a little bit about Treb. Shout out to Lewis for that super chat. Now let's get into some altcoins. And let's look at Solana first of all, because, Solana is at the top of the food chain as well. So now, if I recall the last live stream I did, Solana was trading down here at around 160. And I was looking for the relief bounce up to resistance, which was like 190, 180 up here, right? And it did exceed that. It did pump up here, and it did hit 209, right? It swept these highs over here. It hit 209, and it rejected. Now, so that move kind of played out, right? It did go higher than I initially thought, right? I was looking for like 190, but I mean, still. The rally was expected to fail, and as of right now, this rally is failing. So we have a one-day demand zone holding up price currently. All right, we have a one-day demand here that is holding up price currently. Now, the issue is that we really don't have major confluence right now to say that this is going to hold. So, with that being said, I do think it is possible that we're going to see lower prices here on Solana, right? Especially, look, if USDT dominance spikes up to 4.6%, everything's going to go lower. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, everything. So yes, I think it's very possible that Solana goes lower here. Where does it go? Well, here's the thing. This was a fresh demand zone over here at 160, but then it got hit over here at the start of August. So it's no longer a fresh demand zone. The more times the support gets tapped, the weaker it does get. So it might want to break down through, and maybe it goes for support down here at, say, 146. Or maybe, just maybe, we see even lower prices at like 130. I'm not going to confidently say it's going down here. I would really be looking for something in here at like 150 to like 145. Right? This higher time frame. I'm sure if we go to let's see what it looks like on the weekly. Maybe a 3-day. Yeah, so on the 3-day, we can conclude that this is a fresh demand zone. Don't mind my very artistic drawings, guys. I know I'm quite the artist, psych. I've never been a great drawer. My artistic expression is mainly in the form of video content like you guys see here on live streams and YouTube videos, things like that. But anyways, This is a 3-day demand zone at like 150 down to like 146 fresh on Solana. And yeah, I mean, this level over here at 160 has been hit multiple times. So I would be looking for around like 145 to 150 on Sol if we do see Tether dominance spike up to 4.60%, which I do think it will. So that's Solana. Look, you know, Solana can go to like $300, yeah. Maybe it goes to 350, yeah. But this really isn't a great, it's not the best opportunity out there on the market. It's good to look at because it has a lot of effect and pull for a lot of the other smaller coins in the Solana ecosystem. But I have really no interest in buying Solana. I would trade it. I wouldn't buy it. And even I wouldn't even trade it because there's so many other better coins to trade in my opinion. But anyways, to all the people who are in love with Solana, maybe it's like their biggest bag or something like that. That's my take on it. That's my take, lads. So on the Doge coin, same thing, right? We had this demand at 19 cents, like 20 cents. And, you know, this got hit over here at the start of August. It produced a lower high, right? A bounce into a lower high. So if this comes back for a third tap of this level at 19 cents, this is the case. Pay attention because this is the case with most altcoins right now. A third tap probably doesn't hold. A third tap probably leads to more of a breakdown. Okay? So where should we be looking? Quarterly open is definitely interesting down here at 16.5. That's definitely interesting. 16.5 quarterly open. Can definitely happen. It's around a 20% drop. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what the majors do. I think that's too much for, depending, like if Bitcoin only goes down to 109, we likely will see Doge produce some type of bounce from in here. Right? On the 3-day time frame, you know, we have the partial 3-day, partially mitigated as well. It's been tapped multiple times, which is why I'm saying it's not a fresh level anymore. It's not very strong. So yeah, we can look for this to produce a bounce again, but every time this is hit, it gets weaker and weaker. So if it keeps on bouncing from here, it's eventually going to break through and lead to lower. We'll see how it goes. We want to use our major confluence, but definitely it would be a great opportunity. That all it is an opportunity to buy Dogecoin at a good price at 16.5 cents if given. And obviously wholesale is all the way down here at like 12, 13 cents. Depending on how things go, that might get hit, but likely it's not going to happen anytime soon, but we'll have to see. I don't think it will happen anytime soon though. But yeah, as of right now, like this 3-day over here at 18, it looks to be the spot. Other than that, the quarterly open would be a great buying opportunity at 16.5. Let's see, Tau, same thing, lads. We're now coming in for another tap of like this 330 level, 340, 330 level. Over here. Same thing that I just talked about on Sol, same thing on Doge, right? Every time it comes into this, like look at what happened. It came into this level, it bounced, yeah, but it produced a pretty damn weak bounce. It's a pretty freaking weak bounce, guys. into a lower high. Right? Previous high over here, lower high here. Man, like, so my worry is basically, you know, it's back down to this level. It just, when it produces a weak bounce like this, what does it tell us? It tells us that the buyers are getting weaker. So if the buyers are getting weaker and we're coming in to tap this level again, I mean, there's a decent chance we see it break down through it. Okay. Now, look, if we see Tau down here in this demand zone at like just below 300 bucks, this is where it will go if we lose this support at like 330. It will go to like 295. And that is a buying opportunity. All right. But yeah, as of right now, we're just coming back into this support for like a third tap. It's no longer a fresh level. Produced a very weak bounce previously here in August. And I don't think it's going to hold this time, especially if it bounces a little bit and it comes back. It's just going to fall through and go to 295. And 295 is your buy zone. And again, if we have that nice major confluence that we spoke about multiple times this live stream, that would be further confidence to be a buyer down there just below 300 bucks. Anyways, let's switch it up a little bit and talk about some news. So here's some FUD from Arkham Intelligence. They said BlackRock sold Ethereum, Fidelity sold Ethereum, Grayscale sold Ethereum. Nobody bought Ethereum. So here is BlackRock showing some sells on ETH. Here's Fidelity showing some sells on ETH. And then here is Grayscale showing some sells on Ethereum. So yeah, I mean, look, you guys have to understand, like I already spoke about here on ETH. By the way, let me show you the CME gap. So the CME gap got hit. It got filled. Okay, but the only thing is there's just no major confluence to say that that's the bottom. But yeah, so on a 1 month supply zone on ETH, it's not going to melt through it on the first try. It's not just going to rip right through a 1 month supply zone at the all-time high. And also what happened was retail was balls to the wall bullish up here. But what was smart money doing? What were the institutions doing up here? They were selling into the retail bullishness. Same old story, same old song and dance, okay? Again, this is not a cycle top. This is a local top. But look at the lessons from it. It was a retail trap. Smart money was selling, and retail was saying we're going to 10K ETH. If you were on the retail side saying, oh my God, we're going to break through, reassess, think about your emotions during that time, and don't let it happen again. Right? This might happen a month from now with another retail trap. It might happen a year from now. But you want to be able to reference this experience and not let it happen again. Okay? Anyways, that's what's going on with the smart money. That's what's going on with smart money right now. Smart money was selling, retail was buying max bullish, and it led to a local top. Can't make it up. It's a tale as old as time. Now, the other major thing to talk about right now is rate cuts. Right? Everyone's saying September rate cuts, and then the PPI numbers came in extremely bad, and everyone's like, oh my God, we're not going to get rate cuts in September anymore. This could be like the classic switcheroo. Another classic oldest time thing, the switcheroo. We're not going to cut rates anymore. We're not going to cut rates anymore. We're not going to cut rates anymore. And then they end up cutting the rates in September. Anyway, so they said, Trump says that Fed Chair Jerome Powell is destroying the housing market. There is no inflation, and every sign is pointing to a major rate cut. So look, Trump wants the rate cuts, But of course, the Fed hasn't cut the rates just yet. And after those PPI numbers came in last Friday, the probability of the September rate cut dropped by a whole lot. And that spooked things a bit. It led to our local top we have now, things like that, right? So, again, this, all I know is we're going higher. This is a bullshit pullback. This is going to end. And, you know, we'll see what happens. I think they're probably going to pull a classic switcheroo where they're saying now we're not going to cut rates anymore, but then they end up doing it. That's my take. We'll continue to monitor the situation as it does go forward. And, yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. Let's see. Also, we have the big Jackson hole. The big Jackson hole thing. It's starting tomorrow. And the big one is on Friday. Okay? The Jackson Hole I don't know how to say this word. Symposium. Yeah, I know how to say it. The Jackson Hole Symposium. Duh. You guys don't know about that? Anyway, the Jackson Hole Symposium is happening on Friday, so high impact event. And then other than that, you know, we got the FOMC coming into play in September, but my thing is that they're going to cut the rates. They're going to cut them, lads. Anyways, in other news, I was given a Monad card, which is pretty cool, I guess. They're calling me Unk. Look, I'm 28 years old. I'm not that old, but I guess I am Unk, especially to all the YNs out there. Shout out to all the YNs watching the stream. Smash up that like button. But yeah, apparently I'm a true OG, a respected Unk in the space. If you don't know what Unk means, if you're that out of touch with the times, it means uncle. Like a mentor, someone older than you that guides the youth. An Unk. That's what the youth call it nowadays. So I'm Unk now. I didn't think I was that old, but damn, even Monad is calling me Unk now. So anyways, only like 5,000 or 3,000 people got this card initially, and I was included. So hey, that's pretty cool, I guess, right? It's always good to get I guess appreciated. By the way, shout out to all you guys who sent me DMs asking me where I was, asking me where the live streams were, all of that. Right? That also made me feel appreciated. So thank you for that, guys. I really do appreciate that. But yeah, so I can nominate people now. I can nominate 3 people. I haven't nominated anyone to receive this card. I don't even know if it's going to lead to anything. I think it's just a marketing stunt. But yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about it. So it's good marketing by Monad. Oh, look at these cards. But is it going to lead to anything? I have no idea. But hey, I got one. So that's that. Follow me on Twitter, guys, at @CSellCrypto. Respect your elders, lads. I'm Unk. But yeah, that's that. Let's see what you guys are saying, though. I went over the main things I want to talk about today. And what are we? We're 48 minutes in. Shout out to Crypto Christian. What's up, man? Cepheus10, good to see you as well. We got FBS, Crypto Strega. Thank you for the support. We got our boy Shane Stridham. He says, oi, oi, Connor, good to have you back live. Yes, sir. Shout out to Shane. Thank you for the support. We have Rinum. What's up, Rinum? How are you? Baki says, what do I think of Epic? I think Epic is the same thing of TARS AI. It's a retail trap. It's a trap, basically. Like, if you bought down here at 160, 170, awesome. I would look to take profits at current price. But I wouldn't be so hopeful to think that this thing is just going to go and pump to the stratosphere from here. I think very likely it's going to enter some form of distribution. It's just starting now. It's some kind of distribution. I think the gains are likely done with this for now. So I wouldn't really be too eager to be a buyer, especially at the current market price. Okay, I would not be eager to buy up here at the current market price. Down here, you know, in our green level that we've outlined, would have been the place to buy. But at the current market price, I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. Shout out to Blockchain Junkie. We got Guts Motors. Glaucus SR5. What up, my man? Raphael. Hopefully my Bitcoin analysis earlier on in the stream answered your questions. So Rich said long sol here. So again, right, this demand zone doesn't really have any major confluence. So it's really not a great, it's not really a high confidence spot to take a long, okay? The Monday low play would have been good, but now you can see, right, we're selling off of the New York Open. We lost our Monday low again. What did Bitcoin do? Wow, it didn't even, it's just kind of selling off right away. All right, so maybe it goes for our first key level at 111,970 here. Maybe. We'll find out. But there it is. So, I mean, I'll show you here. On the 144 minute, which is 2.4 hours, there is a bearish hidden order block. And I was looking to potentially short this if it was given, right? If we did pump up here. But if now that we hit these lows, I'm not too confident to short this. I would have liked to see this hit first before these lows get taken. So that's off of the table now. And maybe Bitcoin goes and tests 111,970 from here. But yeah, to long sol currently is just not a high confidence trade from me. And if you do decide to, I would play it very, very conservatively and tight. I mean, I will show you some things I outlined earlier. Tracking Link in the Mastermind here. And, you know, Link gave us a 7% bounce. Right? We had this one-day hidden order block level. And it did lead to a bounce. We read this one pretty accurately, right? Even on the first test, right? We had no confluence from the majors. A move back into the 23s, and you know this thing moved back to the 2350. It produced a 7% bounce. You know, as of right now, stop is at break even, and like there's no trade I'm really seeing right now. Like I said earlier in the stream, a little bit of patience is kind of required right now, right? We want to set ourselves up for the next move. Don't try and force any trades, in my opinion, right now. Shout out to Crypto Q5X. What is up, brother? As well as Nurala Muhammad. And we have George Pop. I mean, I see that's a different username, my man, but I'll call you by your current username. We got George Pop 6231. What is going on? Shout out to Nurala Muhammad, Crypto Q5X, Constitutional Delegate Republic. I'm not sure about the Atlantis IDO update. I would just follow them on Twitter and when they announce it. But yeah, I mean, they did put out that fire video, if you guys saw that one. Let's see. This guy asked, have you found Crypto no Mi in Japan? I have not found that. I don't know what that is. Shout out to All Day Dre. Big shout out to Dre, my man. Hyping up in the chat. And we got D Jenny from the blockchain, another OG in here. Crypto Empire OG. He says, big ups, Emperor. How was your trip? It was good, man. Dude, those hot springs are different in Japan. Yeah, you feel a lot better. Was there any hype in Japan for Maneki? Nah, Maneki is a Kabbalah scam, dude. Like, if that thing comes back, I'll be damned. I just... Like, I remember that chick who got caught selling, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars of Maneki when she... Like, every time she would put out a bullish tweet, some blockchain analyst would track her selling hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is a bullshit scam coin, man. So, I mean, if this thing comes back, I hope it does if you're holding this. But I seriously doubt it will. And Ghost says, did I see Cubic hit Monero with the 51% attack? Yes, I did, sir. That reminds me. Let's talk about Cubic a little bit. So, through thick and thin, I stuck with Cubic. Even when they paid that little blonde twerp in Dubai a ton of money and he just basically did nothing for it. Here I am, making good, solid videos and getting paid nothing. They pay some little twerp in Dubai 50 grand. I still stick with it. And that's because, like, I just, I understand what the heck's going on. So, anyways, this is one of the rare coins outperforming Ethereum currently. It's getting a lot of attention because of the Monero 51% attack. And I do think this is going to continue to perform well. All right, some next targets would be up here at 4K per billion. Right, the targets haven't changed. This has been a level up here for a while. For months. But yeah, I mean, Cubic, one of the rare coins right now, on pace with Ethereum. Let me show you. Let me show you Tau versus ETH. Right, if you look at Tau versus ETH, it's just shitting the bed. It's not doing anything. Let me add Cubic ETH to my chart here. Here we are, lads. So, I mean, Cubic ETH it's on par, right? It's kind of just like going sideways. It's not shitting the bed like most altcoins are. This is Tau ETH. Here's Sui versus ETH. Also just massively underperforming currently over the past few months. Cubic is one of the rare coins not underperforming Ethereum currently. So that's cool to see. That's great to see, right? But yeah, Monero is an opportunity right now. There's a lot of FUD on Monero because of the Cubic attack. But Monero is going up here, in my opinion, to at least like 470, 500. So I actually am looking to buy look, I lost all of it in a boating accident, which was really, really, it was bad, losing all your Monero in a boating accident. It sucks. So yeah. Anyways, big opportunity. And I think it's going to trade into the like 470 to 500s. So a lot of FUD because of the Cubic attack right now. But Monero is Monero. Monero is not going anywhere. Monero is the real OG private crypto. To all the nerds out there that say, oh, what if the government bans it? What if nobody accepts it? You have to understand you're being a worm by saying that. And Monero is Monero. And if somebody wants to accept Monero, they're going to accept it. The government cannot stop it. All right? So stop being a nerd and thinking they can. Privacy will prevail. And this is the true OG crypto. This is what Bitcoin was meant to be. And I've been a believer. Go look at my old Monero videos from 2021. My opinion hasn't changed. Privacy is a fundamental human right. And anyways, Monero, it's getting interesting. It's in a decent buy level now. Down here at 230 was a good one. Right, it just wicked into it. But I think this is forming a range right now. And I think buying in this range, right, especially if it comes down to where range lows, back to like 230, 240, right, we have a one-day demand over here. Like, this is a buy on Monero to trade it up to like... It's like a 100% move, which isn't anything crazy, but it's still like it's very liquid, so you can size into it. And yeah, it's gonna move up. So I like Monero, especially at these prices. let's see. Let me see. I was just gonna. Oh yeah, let's look at swarms real quick. Somebody asking about swarms. Let's check the funding. Let's see what's going on here. So open interest is going up. It looks like people are shorting it. Funding going up positively. So maybe people are long in this thing right now. People are buying this at 0.19. Where is it? Here we are. Okay, so you know, it did produce a pump out of this little ascending pennant, right? Price was coiling up, bang, snap, pumped up pretty violently, fully retraced this dip. So the issue now is, just like I talked about on most of the altcoins we looked at, it's come back to this support. And every time it comes back to a support, the support gets weaker. So the support at 1.9 is weak at this point, which tells me that maybe it wants to go and hit like 1.5. When it comes to swarms, what I would say is buy it when you have major confluence, or long it when you have major confluence. So at this point, what does that mean? It's nice to see my analysis from the start of the live stream kind of play out here as we go further along. But anyways, major analysis is USDT dominance at 4.60. It would be the total 2 in this 12-hour at 1.48 trillion. And it would be total 3 down here at like 985 billion. So buy swarms when these three are together, when you have that confluence. That goes with every single altcoin. This is a bullshit pullback. We're going to go higher, but for now, we're in the eye of the storm. We're in the middle of the pullback. So look, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right now. We've been live for an hour. First live stream back, but hey, we're locked in, right? We're back from our trip, and I ain't going nowhere for the next few months, so don't worry. You'll be seeing a lot more of me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this first live stream back. There's only 56 likes, and that's a pretty weak number, so maybe you guys didn't enjoy it. I don't know. Judging by the like number, it appears most of you guys did, right? The majority did, but maybe some people watching just forgot to hit the like button. So maybe go ahead right now and smash that like button for me. Thank you. I would appreciate it. But I'll see all you guys really soon. We'll be back with regular videos, and we're back in the captain seat, lads. So Connor, over and out. Thanks for all being here, and I'll see you in the next video.